Loading.
There we go. It says live.
Yep.
Live? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I have to mute that or what?
There we go. It says live.
Oh,
Heather
yeah.
says I can
Live?
just exit
Okay.
out of
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah.
I don't
But
know
Now
about that.
I have to
Just mute it.
mute that or what?
Okay. All right. Hi, everyone. How are you? Thanks for joining us on our weekly Come Alive call. Every Wednesday night, we do this. It's our chance to hear updates from people who have done the 11-day ER shred or newer people to share their results, their testimonials, and then we also get to afterwards turn the time over to Jesse James Jamnick, our ER shred ambassador, ultra marathon runner, and nutrition expert. So he is going to give us a breakdown of how the ER shred works and why it's so effective. But we're going to start off with some testimonials.
Hey, Jesse, did you by chance go share this in the group, or should I go do that? You already did. You're just Superman. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. So, Crystal, one thing we can do, just to address the common theme, which is people say, I can't live like that. I think people confuse what ER shred is. If that's the case, if that's their logic, is that I can't eat like that, I think they might be a little bit confused about what ER shred is. Jesse is going to share what it is, but around this specifically, Crystal and I, we eat, I think if you were to look at our diets, it's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about, wouldn't you say about 12 to 20?
Yeah.
It's like a dozen to 20 different kinds of foods. And, you know, these, it actually ends up being quite a bit of variety.
Yeah.
You know, you might eat shrimp and, you know, what else would you pair with shrimp? Shrimp and avocado, maybe a few berries. You know, this is the lifestyle we're talking about. Of course, you want to be as regimental as possible during that initial 11 days. But when you get to the lifestyle, it's important that people know there's going to be as much variety as your body tells you there should be. In our experience, that's, for me, that's probably around 15 foods. Jesse did a great post. If you guys haven't seen it, go look it up. Just type like in the group, Jesse Jamnick, and type, gosh, you know, there's got to be a trigger word, Jesse, that they could find that from. It's a great post. I can't hear him.
Unmute yourself.
But there's a great post, and bottom line is, if you find that post, you'll be so inspired because he eats a lot of different things, but they're all non-culprit for him. That's the key. You know, I can eat avocados all day, as many as I want. And I discovered that there's another friend of mine, Ricky, who can't do that. So I hope that, you know, you guys will trust your bodies. The coolest thing about this entire thing, like if people say, is it keto? Is it carnivore? Is it, you know, Atkins type thing? Is it this? Is it that? You know, here's the one component. Crystal nailed it. She said, well, none of those teach you your body how to feel. None of those teach you how to be in tune with your body and really understand what serves you and what does not. You know, and like Mel said on the call just before we started, she said oils are out for her. Oils are so out for me. I do not do oils. And I paid such a heavy price for eating all those oils for all those years. And here I was, you know, a lot of these I thought were healthy oils that were serving me. No, I don't do oils. So the empowerment around this is you learning to be able to hear your body speak. In what way does your body speak?
Bloat, headaches, aches and pains, rashes, acne, lots of different ways.
Fantastic. And just
low energy,
mood,
brain fog,
right? Yeah. Emotions. You'll learn this empowerment. And for us, that's been the coolest part of this overall, without a doubt. We're going to ask if we have any testimonials tonight. It's slim pickings tonight. It's summer. Everybody's distracted. We know that for sure. But
what's that,
Jesse's
Jesse?
saying he texted one of us.
Oh, June 3rd was the post, and I just counted, and there was 38 different options, and some of those were berries, so you can add like 5 or 6 to that. Some of those are shakes, you can add multiple flavors to that. Yeah, you just summed it up perfectly, Sean, and we'll touch on that obviously after we share some people's stuff, but it's really more about finding just what makes you feel alive. And that's going to be so different for everybody. But that's the beautiful thing about why this is so powerful, is it gives you that control. Like I've tried for 20 years, all different things to come to this list. And these are just the foods that make me feel awesome. Like that's literally the purpose of why I choose to eat them, is they make me feel awesome. That's it.
And what's funny, Jesse, the average American that looks at you, Jesse, I know this because I used to be that average American eater, and I would look at someone like you and I would think, what a nut job. Like, what a nutcase. No, I'm being completely, I am being so brutally honest. You know why I would say that? Because I would be confused, like, you're not human. You're not human if you don't eat popcorn at a movie theater. You're not human if you don't eat pizza. You're not human if you, and I had this whole list of things. It's like, yeah, I'll eat really well, but when it comes to this, and this, that's a given. I'm human, therefore. And I thought people like you were like robotic, like not even human. I was like, what's wrong with these people? Like there's a screw loose. And now for a year, I've been even more pure than the people that I used to look at and be confused by. It's the craziest thing.
Yeah.
Well, we can clarify one thing. I definitely have screws loose. So that's 100% no questions asked. Like I have screws loose. I think the other thing, Sean, is that people don't realize that it's not about just being regimented, so to speak. Like I literally have whatever I want. Like if there comes a time where like I'm out and about with the wife and I'm like, wow, that blueberry muffin looks good, I'll eat it. And sometimes I'll pay a price and sometimes I won't, but it's my choice. And that's what I think people don't understand, is that when you have the power to choose, like I'm going to choose to eat that because I just freaking want to. And when you understand what it's going to do, it just brings more awareness than even before when you got to that baseline point, because you were eating it not knowing. Well, now you know. So if you eat that and all of a sudden you feel like crap, okay, that's your choice. Pay the price and just go on and be with it. Like, just do it. Who cares? You know what I mean? Piece of pizza, slice of bread, chocolate chip cookie, like whatever the case may be. Like those are still things that are still part of lifestyle. And I think if people go long term, like we always talk about, let's play the long game, right? And if we play the long game and people go at this for a while, mind you, I've been doing this for a lot of years. So when I eat a cookie or I eat a slice of bread or I do something like that now, I'll be totally honest with you, it doesn't really affect me all that much, because my body can handle it. You know what I mean? Like I can handle insulin. Like I place it differently in my body. Like, and people can get to that point. People can 100% get to metabolic flexibility and just have pure freedom. And I think that's the beautiful thing right there. Is
well,
you just
here's the one catch. The one catch to what you just said. This is what I think is a catch. The catch is this. The problem with, if we're going to call it freedom, right? Because people will interpret freedom as I get to drink Dr. Pepper whenever I want.
Well, that's true.
And you see what I'm saying? So the only thing around that is when people stop forgetting how bad they were, that's actually dangerous. I've done that so many times in my life where I forget how bad I tell myself, I will never, ever will I ever eat movie theater popcorn again. I got so sick. I will never, ever do that the rest of my life. You can't make me. And guess what? Give me about 4 months, 6 months, a year, I caved. I'd cave again. That's just the way it was for me on so many different things. And so that's where ER is so empowering, is that everybody keeps saying to me, where are all these people finding the willpower? But it's weird. Like if I asked April, if I asked Brent, if I asked Nicole and Leanne's on here, Bob, Sonia, Natasha, if I asked any of these people, where's the willpower coming from? They would say, I don't think it's willpower. It's just that I don't feel like that anymore. I don't feel like I'm drawn to it anymore. Like dude, I've gone a year without eating chips and salsa. Do you know how insane that is? That doesn't even make sense. I ate chips and salsa every day of my life for probably 15 years.
Yeah, that was his go-to. Anytime he's hungry, pull out the chips and salsa first thing.
That's funny. Yeah.
Now
I think
can't
the other
even-
thing too, there's another piece to that puzzle too, Sean, is that when I say that I have those things, I need people to like, I'm not like devouring a bag of chips. Like I have so much control. It's not even funny. Like I can literally eat a piece of a cookie and walk away, and I'll eat it and I'll be like, man, that granule of each little ting of sugar, that tastes like shit, and I don't really want to eat that again, and I'll do it again in a couple weeks. I cave just like anybody else. I need people to understand, like, I'm not like not human, you know what I mean? Like I am so freaking human. I screw up all the time. So I eat, but I eat these little things. So I'll have like 2 chips. They say nobody can eat just one. Bullshit. You know, I'll have like, you know, I just have a little serving. So like I can do that at this point because I'm just doing it to do it. Does that make sense? Like that's what I guess what I meant by freedom is like, I do it because I'm not in control over food. I control food. It serves me. I don't serve food anymore. So I guess that's kind of like what I meant by that, but it's not like I'm devouring an entire damn cheesecake or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. And you know, your terminology and your experience, you've been a clean eater a lot longer than we have, truthfully. And so what's a given to you is, you know, not to us and to other people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't believe I'm still, the mind is boggled that I've gone a full year without having any Sour Patch Kids. Like I haven't even had one. Like it's nuts. Like I can't comprehend that. And my dad even keeps asking me, where's the willpower coming from? Where's that willpower coming from? He's like, how are you so self-disciplined? And I'm like, I don't even think it's that. It's the weirdest thing. I don't feel disciplined. I just don't.
Yeah. I mean, you feel so good now that you don't even think about the food, right? Like you're just going to those foods. That's literally how it is. Like, I'll give you an example. I literally just walked in the door at 7:15 from the job today. Like we had to finish this massive ceiling. My definition of fast food is scrambled eggs, beef-fed hot dog, 3 tablespoons of butter, a little bit of peppers and onions, a prosciutto pepper, some slice of cheddar cheese, some olives, and some sauerkraut, some real sauerkraut, right? That's my idea of fast food. You know how long it took me? Don't forget the bacon that was cooking as I did everything else. Literally 7 minutes, bing, bang, boom, done, shoveled it in. I feel freaking alive. Like I feel, this is why I'm so alive all the time. So it's just, you know.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Well, what we want to do now is just open it up. I posted a disclaimer in the chat.
I wanted to have you just tell them about what's the plan for tomorrow night.
Oh, tomorrow night, Bob Sidwright is with his beautiful Allie, and they are in Mexico. There will not be an official call tomorrow night around
live call, but yeah.
Right, around the opportunity to share your Shred Forward. But I am going to publish a video at that very time, 6 p.m. Mountain, 8 p.m. Eastern. Just some thoughts, some insights around the opportunity. If you want to find that, you can find that on my wall or in the groups, and I'll publish that there tomorrow night.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, real quick. Oh, you can go because he's just gonna. I'm putting him to work in the next room, so he's gonna be listening in and organizing that room over there. But I was thinking when we were talking about chips and salsa, I have the best alternative that is so good. If you feel like salsa is something that you can have, I think Jesse, you have a little bit of salsa, right? It's fine for you. And I haven't had salsa all this time until just recently. I've been experimenting and I feel fine if I have a little bit. I mix it in with my avocado, just like a tablespoon of salsa. And then I use pork rinds. And it's like so amazing that I feel like I'm eating chips and salsa or chips and guacamole. So there's an option. If you guys are like having the munchies and you want something crunchy and you kind of like this chips and salsa or guacamole, try the pork rinds. It's to me so similar that it's enough. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. So anyway, let's get started. We got some people live with us on Facebook. Thank you guys for joining us.
Hey, Crystal. Hold on.
Wait, what is that background noise?
That's me. I'm going to.
Okay, that's Sean.
Just open it up for any updates or even any questions.
Okay, so yeah, we are gonna ask if anyone tonight here on Zoom would like to share an update, and then we can also do a little bit of a Q&A, and then we'll turn the time over to Jesse. So, April, you want to go first?
Sure.
Okay.
Hi, guys.
So my share tonight is a little different, but the way you and Sean and Jesse just opened it up, it fits perfectly. So I'm sharing fraudulent cases tonight. I went off the rails a little bit. I lost track of the shred, not completely, but I don't know what it was, but I introduced a lot of bad food over the last 2 weeks. So I'm paying for it. My guilt is killing me and eating me up inside. But yeah, it was my daughter's graduation the other day, and I had a cupcake thinking, I could get away with it. No. I had chips and salsa. No, not at all. I had an ice cap. No, not good. So anyway, I've got a lot of inflammation back, a lot of pain. Like you can see the puffiness in my face. Like I wore a pair of sunglasses the other day and it left indents because my face is so puffy.
Oh. So
was it worth it? No, not at all. I got back on track just yesterday. So I'm back to I'm starting a cleanse. And everything was affected, like my sleep. I haven't been sleeping well the last couple weeks. I'm even though it's humid, I know that, but my body goes through these weird heat, or I don't know how to explain it. And it could be menopause, I don't know, but it's just horrible heat feeling, and then the puffiness and waking up with swollen hands, and it's just not been and I don't feel good. I feel like shit, really. Yeah. You know, I've still been doing my walking every day and I'm still exercising, but it's a lot harder, and it's only been 2 weeks, so it doesn't take that long to get that bad, crappy feeling back. And I've been emotional, and it's like, all that crap, the sugars, all that poison, all the carbs. But I was still doing 2 shakes. It's like, oh, well, that's keeping me on track a little bit, my 2 shakes, but so life does happen, and
well, I'm glad that you shared that, April, because, you know, although you said it's a negative update, I really think it's very relatable, because this happens to all of us from time to time. We revert back to old habits, and we think, oh, a little bit's not going to hurt, and then a little bit turns into more, and then more. It kind of turns into this downward spiral. But it is good for you to remind us of your reminder, like, I don't feel good when I do this. It's not worth it. So don't beat yourself up. I love that you're sharing that, because I think it's important that we don't beat ourselves up over it. We just take that information that your body's giving you. Your body told you enough. Like, remember, April, you don't feel good when you do this. So leave it at that. You don't need to feel horrible about, oh, why don't I have the willpower and the discipline? Like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I stick with things long term? And all these stories that we start to tell ourselves. But our body's just reminding us, like, this is not going to make you feel good. And you're like, okay, get back on track.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
Yeah. But it was so, for me, it was so easy to follow my lifestyle up until just a couple of weeks ago. I don't know what happened. I can't explain it, but it was really easy to fall off track. And that's not cool. So, because it was, oh, you know what? I'm just going to have 1 Timbit. Well, 1 Timbit turned into 3 Timbits. And it's like, what the hell am I doing? Like, I'm a T1D, and I'm not even supposed to be eating food like that. Like, so just the whole the whole experience just crapped me right out. So
yeah,
onward and upward, and
yes,
getting back
everything's
on
gonna
track.
be fine.
So
At least you know that
yeah,
you
yeah.
have a solution that you can go right back to.
Mhm.
And at least you're not sitting in confusion, like, what do I do? Nothing seems to work for me. And, you know, that hopeless feeling that many of us have experienced.
Oh,
So thank you
yeah,
so much for
yeah,
sharing that.
yeah.
We appreciate it. I'm sure a lot of people appreciate the authenticity that
Yeah.
this happens.
Yeah,
And,
Allison's like,
Allison,
yes.
she's like, I need to talk. I have something to say. Go ahead, Allison. There you
April,
go.
no, just thank you so much. I'm almost in tears from what you said, because I felt the same way yesterday and today. And I was just like so upset and angry today that I was going to come home and I was going to open a bottle of wine. And no, I wasn't going to drink the whole bottle. But I was just gonna, it was a stressful day
Yeah.
at school. And then I thought, no, I'm just going to go home and I'm going to make a shake. It's incubating right now. And I put this on. I didn't have internet when I got in, so I jumped on late because my internet wasn't working when I first got in. So I was making it. So I thank you so much for putting out what you did. And please don't judge yourself. It's hard not to, because we all do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But goodness gracious, you're perfect the way you are, and just your sharing is so amazing. So
yes. Thank you, Allison. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's good encouragement that it happens.
I felt the same way,
and
I'm glad that I came. I'm so glad that I came on, because I was having a pity party, so I wasn't going to. And so
yeah,
I'm glad I made
it.
I'm glad my internet decided to work.
Yes.
Serendipity.
Yeah. And like April said, like, I don't know what caused me to do this. And you, Allison, like, you had a stressful day. It's sometimes it just something, you know, externally triggers these old habits. And that's okay, because this is all part of the journey. Like every time we fall back, we get better each time. So never feel like you've fallen all the way back to the beginning, because even though April, you said that it doesn't take long to go back to the beginning, like maybe with your physical, you know, body, the experience of your physical body, but mentally and like the way you are evolving, you know, with your personal development, just know that even though you've fallen back, you have not fallen back to the beginning. You've made a lot of progress, you know. And I don't think it's going to take you that long to get right back on track as far as your results physically.
I agree 100%, because I mean, I did get on the scales. I gained 4 pounds back. I gained inches, but I think that's all the inflammation. And I know how quickly I can get back on track and how quickly that will lead. So it's, and to be honest, I was thinking, as Allison was saying, I'm really happy in a way that I experienced this, because I don't want to feel like that anymore. Like, it's like the opposite to, I think it was Peter that said, you don't know how bad you felt until how good you feel, or I think the opposite. But now knowing, so I felt shitty for so long, got on the ER shred and felt amazing for 5 months. And then all of a sudden I feel that crappy, heavy, sluggish, bleh. It's like, okay, you know what? Enough is enough. So
yeah, you know what, that reminded me of a quote I heard on a movie. I can't remember where, but she said, you don't even know you're cold until somebody gives you a blanket. So sometimes, like, we're at a certain temperature, and then we get a blanket, we're like, oh my gosh, it's so cozy and warm. And I feel like that's what ER shred is. Like, we don't actually know to the extent of our pain physically until we're given something that can make us feel even better, something that we've actually never even experienced in our physical bodies. So I thought that was really interesting. But again, thank you so much, April and Allison. Is there anyone else that would like to share an update or even has a question? Okay, Leanne, go ahead.
I wanted to share, Scott and I are preparing for our 32-day trek. We're going to be living out of a Toyota Corolla for the next 32 days. We do have medical issues we're coming back to. Scott will be having open heart surgery come August when we get back. We are going to be continuing to do our bike trek and just packing. I'm packing for 32 days. Everything is packed shake-wise. We are packing steaks, butter, our eggs, our hard-boiled eggs. Everything is in. The chomps are in for snacks. Our hydrates are in. So we're going to stick to protocol as close as possible. Go ahead, Jesse, stick your tongue out. You're right there with me. You know how I'm packing. The propane burner is in. We're going to be camping along the way, so we will be grilling as we go. And I will say, Mel and I have been doing an 11-day, the past 11 days. I'm on my last 2 days of cleanse. It's been a cleanse of stress the past 11 days. So April, I'm right there with you with falling off track and trying to stay on track. Our last 11 days have been a roller coaster in this household, not knowing where we were going, how we were proceeding, if we were going to be allowed to go on this trip. We were given the clear, and luckily I was optimistic all the way along and did not cancel anything. So we are headed out on Friday. So watch my page if you guys are friends with me. I will be posting, and there are hashtags to follow us what we're doing. But we will be using everything from our parent company for food along the 32 days, as well as ER Shred protocol foods during our whole trip. So it's going to be a total lifestyle out of a car as opposed to eating out. But I'm sure once we hit your neck of the woods, Crystal, we will be probably indulging in some chips and salsa along the way, because Southwestern cuisine have been a favorite in this household for a long time. And just like Sean said, I don't even think we've had chips and salsa in this house since January, since we started. Same thing with packing of our snacks for this trek. It's all protocol snacks all the way along the line. So we're trying to stay as close as possible. But my other thing is, I know exactly where April's coming from, the inflammation and how quickly it can come back just with some stress in your life. And it's one of those things where no matter how hard you try and stay consistent to protocol, and I think Mel will back me on this. She knows what I've been going through the past 2 weeks, especially. No matter how close I stick to things, nothing moves, nothing changes. And it's one of these things where I still have not unlocked that final door to the key to my system to get things moving. So I'm just hoping that the extra biking that I can at least get in, if Scott doesn't get it in, will break my barriers this next 32 days. So.
Yes, well, this will be fun to watch your journey. I'm glad that you'll be sharing that. Did you say you're using a hashtag for people to follow along?
I am. There's a whole list of them. I'll post them in the group on one of the posts.
Okay, yeah, well, you can share in the group for sure. That would be awesome. Well, thank you so much, Leanne. I appreciate you sharing that. I think it'll be fun to watch your travel journey, ER Shred travel journey.
And Crystal, I want to thank you and Sean also. We will be debuting the jerseys that you guys sent us as well.
Oh, awesome. Yay, that'll be so fun. Okay, Mel, did you want to add something to that? Share something that you want to update us on?
I would love to. There's a couple of things. So I've been in it for a little over 8 months now. And for me, now that I know the basis of my culprits, because I found those out quickly. I went to a lot of my favorite foods as ads after my third shred. I basically stuck with meats, shakes, butter, eggs, and then I added avocado. I added mango just to see, because I had a bunch of it frozen, and that was just a treat that I would add to a shake every once in a while. But I mostly started with seasonings for my meat so I could have a little extra seasoning, and I stuck with meat.
Yeah.
So I didn't start adding things. When I did, I found so many culprits. I'm telling you, for me, it's not what I can't have. It's what I shouldn't and don't want anymore. And the other thing is, you know, Jesse talks about the ER shred being the tracks to run on. Well, it's been 8 months for me, and it's been a year for y'all. So these tracks now have a track record, and it's all based on everybody's successes and failures. And I don't see them as failures, but the understanding that I have about what I should be eating and what I ought to, you know, make sure I stay away from, all of that information for me is very powerful. It empowers me. And I simply have no desire to go add anything exotic. But I'll tell you, I eat my mom's homemade bread when I go to visit them. At this point, and she uses high gluten wheat flour, but y'all, when my mom makes bread with her own hands and gives me a loaf, I bring it home and I slice it and I freeze half, and I have a slice every once in a while. It's not a killer for me anymore because everything seems to be working, you know, for me within my body. So I don't see this as a willpower anymore. It's an empowerment, like everybody has been talking about. My choices are simply that. They're my choices. I don't see that I'm deprived, and I certainly, I mean, I'm watching people in my house eat all of this food that comes from fast food joints. And now that I know, did y'all know that Chick-fil-A nuggets have an ingredient that's the primary ingredient of silly putty? Did you know that? The primary ingredient in silly putty is in Chick-fil-A nuggets to help them stay springy while they're under the
Oh my
lights.
gosh.
So
I haven't had Chick-fil-A in a long time, but I used to love it. Not gonna lie.
It's insidious. There's all these factors in their breads and their rolls, and it's not just Chick-fil-A, but Chick-fil-A, some people think it's such a great thing to go and have because it's healthier. So
yeah, like you get your protein, but at what cost? What else are they adding to it?
But the truth is, you have to have an intimate knowledge of what you're able to eat and what you're not able to eat, and then make that your choice. It's your choice. So if I have a cupcake with the icing on it, that's my choice. And I'm not deprived. And I'm totally happy where I'm at. I have a lot of foods I can eat now, but I simply stick to the basics. What I like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like tonight, I had scrambled eggs. I threw in salmon that was left over. I had a slice of meatloaf later with my base culture bread. I mean, it's a solid meal. I had the base culture bread is very nice for me. It works. It's almond and coconut flour. You know, no culprits. So yeah. And thank you for letting me share.
Yes, I love that. Thank you so much, Mel. It's always fun to hear an update from you, because to hear from people who have been doing it for so long, it's really nice to know like what you're experiencing at this point and in all different ways. So thank you again, Mel. Is there anyone that wants to share an update or has a question they would like to ask me or Jesse? Okay, if we don't have anyone, then we can just go ahead and turn the time over to our rock star, Jesse James Jamnick. I already introduced him, but for those of you who are joining us a little bit later, if you don't already know, Jesse is our ER Shred ambassador, ultra marathon runner, and nutrition coach. So he is going to give us the full breakdown of why this is so effective and the science behind it. So take it away, Jesse.
Well, thanks, Crystal. Man, this is some good stuff tonight. I love this. You know what I mean? It's, you know, we always talk about we're real and this isn't some yo-yo diet and this isn't some superficial bullshit type of community. Like, here you go. Like, here you go. Like, what else do you need? Real life people, real life problems, just like everybody else. But you know what amazes me? And we always talk about the empowerment aspect of the ER Shred. You know what? You know why all you come back? Because you've been empowered. Because you understand what it's like to be in control, because you understand what it's like to have the power of choice. Now, you've always had that power of choice. You've just been clouded before. And now, since you've come alive and the food reached out and slapped you across the face and let you know that it was good for you or not good for you, you're all empowered now. And putting yourself back in control and in that driver's seat is really such a beautiful concept of the ER Shred. The actual ER Shred itself, it's really simple. It's an 11-day nutritional protocol. We attack, I mean, literally go to war with the major issues that are causing so much distress in health today. And I say that just from 20 years of experience and trial and tribulation and doing it all myself and being fortunate enough to coach a lot of different people and go through all their situations with them. The ER Shred, we look at, when it comes to health, we have to understand, unfortunately, Crystal, over time with magazines and media and everything else, so many people are coming to health because they want to lose weight, or they want to, look like the person in the magazine, or they want to be the person on Instagram. And what we're coming to show people is that we don't get healthy to lose weight. We get healthy because we deserve to get healthy. We get healthy because that's what we were designed to feel like. We get healthy because we just, why would we not want to be that? You know what I mean? And the byproduct of that is losing weight. The byproduct of that is less pain. The byproduct of that is controlling things that you thought were out of control. And we've all come to realize just how powerful of a drug food is. I don't know if you remember me talking about that, and I bring it up here and there, but food is the most powerful legal drug on the face of the planet. Every single bite of food you choose to take instantly talks to your cells. So with the ER Shred, what we do, Crystal, is we bring everybody down to baseline. And what baseline does is it gives everybody a fresh start. Imagine just waking up. I think every single day we get the opportunity to wake up again. We get the gift to wake up again and open our eyes and breathe and put our 2 feet on the ground and just take a breath. I think that's an opportunity. And the ER Shred gives us another opportunity, with our health, because we address things like chronic inflammation. We address things like combating stress. We get the body to an alkaline state, because the human body, if you break it apart and you look at all of its systems, the body doesn't want to be out of whack. The body wants to be in balance, which is why when we eat crappy foods, when we eat a lot of sugar and we eat a lot of carbohydrates, our body releases insulin. That's to balance out the spike in the blood sugar. So if we do that so many times, or if our pancreas loses control of that insulin, we can create type 2 diabetes for ourselves. Obviously, some people have type 1 diabetes, which is where the pancreas doesn't create insulin whatsoever, and then we have to substitute for that. But unfortunately, 90% of the diabetes in America, at least that I know of, is type 2 diabetes, which is 100% preventable. So something like the ER Shred is not going to cure you. It is not going to treat you. It is not going to prevent disease. But what it is going to do is it's going to fuel your body and take away all the culprit foods. We're going to teach you that things like soy and gluten and carbohydrates and sugars and massive amounts of flour, all of that stuff that is in so much of our quote unquote food today, we're going to show you just how much of effect that has on your body through the elimination aspect. It's one of the most powerful things that you can absolutely do to instantly take back control. And I'm talking something like 5, 6, maybe 7 days. You are going to feel something. You're not going to get to your end goal. That is silly. We are not Amazon Prime. Your body is not Amazon Prime. You cannot create that in 2 days. It will not show up on your doorstep, and it will not get out of your covers 2 days from starting. That I can promise you. But if you keep up with it and you start to understand through time just how powerful of a thing this is, by eliminating all that food and then only giving your body the food that we know makes it feel good. Things like grass-fed beef, things like high quality protein, things like third parties, tested supplementation to fill the void where unfortunately our food falls short today from soil depletion and over farming and, pesticides and herbicides and all the bad things that we just do to our world because we take it for granted, just like we take our bodies for granted. So we learn how to combine, the real whole foods, the stuff that's going to fuel us with that supplementation. So we get a complete circle of health. We're filling the body on a macronutrient level and a micronutrient level. And the micronutrient part is what so many people unfortunately forget about. The cool thing with the ER Shred is it's something that can be done by itself. I'm not telling you that you have to exercise 60 minutes a day. You don't have to go and crush yourself and become an ultra marathon runner for crying out loud. Like, none of that is a requirement whatsoever. You can do that if you want to do that, but it's definitely not a requirement. So, it's just more giving people the power to understand and have that energy. But it's something that you can do that's so powerful to the body when you eliminate these culprit foods and stop jacking your hormones and stop jacking your insulin and just give the body the fuel that it needs to perform at those peak optimal levels. It's just an amazing thing. So that's the elimination aspect. We also have a cellular intermittent fasting component of the ER Shred. This is not your mainstream, intermittent fasting. This is not time window eating. There's a time and a place. If you want to try that out, I'll be honest with you, it's not for me. Science for me, there's such deeper things that come into play when we do a cellular intermittent fast. And the specific one that we partner the ER Shred with has 18 years of published, peer-reviewed, double-blind placebo studies. It's third-party verified. I mean, you just can't get any higher of a standard than that. So my science brain is always going to go towards something like that. And the things that we're getting that just go so much deeper is things like autophagy, which is our healthy cells are actually eating our bad cells. That's going to create more availability, more absorption rates in our body later on. That's going to also give us more control over our hunger hormones. So all you guys that have lost your, you thought that you crave chips, you thought that you crave chocolate, you thought that you craved ice cream, you thought that you crave chocolate chip cookies. Surprise, the body actually doesn't crave anything. Your blood sugar levels were jacked up. Yes, April, it has a lot to do with your mind too, but when you fix your gut, you also help fix your mind. And that's a lot of things that people also come to realize with the ER Shred too. Your gut is your second brain. And when we start to address healing the gut, and what do I mean by healing the gut? The ER Shred is not going to heal your gut. Your body is going to heal your gut. We're just going to give you those tracks to run on to make sure that you understand what foods aren't going to serve you and what foods are going to serve you. Because at the end of the day, the body just wants to feel good, and it's going to adapt, and it's going to, just conform to what it is that you're giving to it every day. And unfortunately, if you just continuously feed it ding dongs every day, you're going to live a ding dong life and have ding dong cells. I mean, it's really that simple if we let it be that simple. So the cellular intermittent fast is great. We also increase human growth hormone. We get to a point at the very end of 48 hours that you are the most insulin sensitive that you've ever been. And that's something that you can't get through standard window intermittent fasting either. So things like autophagy, increased HGH, unless you went past 18 hours, and then insulin sensitivity, that right there alone is hands down why I still continue to this day to choose to do cellular intermittent fasting. It is absolutely unbelievable at a huge cellular level, and toxins never take a break, Crystal. So, we can be healthy all we want, but unfortunately we're breathing them in every day. We're taking them in. We clean our house. I mean, you just can't get away from them no matter how careful you are. So we have to do maintenance, just like we have to do on any high performance machine. You have to continue maintenance with that machine, or eventually that machine is going to break down. And it's the same thing with the human body, just at a much, much higher level. And then we have the shred aspect of the ER Shred, which is kind of what we've already talked about. So it's learning how to eat food. It's learning that you're not a slave to food anymore. Food does not control you. Cookies do not control you. Ice cream does not control you. It's okay to be human. It's okay to fall off track. I can't explain to you how many times that's happened to me over 20 years. But the reason that I'm where I'm at today is simply because I'm still here. So all I need you to do, no matter if you mess up, is just be here week after week after week. Make sure your ass is always in a seat and show up for nobody else but you. That is the only person that you need to show up for, because you're in a constant fight to just be a little bit better every single day. So we have all that component, and then we have our community, which if you've been tuned in, you know what our community is about. If you haven't, please go to www.ershredders.com. It's free. We have all sorts of amazing professionals in there, moms, dads, young, old, athletes, non-athletes, doctors, nurses. I mean, everybody is a part of it. And it's one of the most beautiful teams that I have ever been a part of. And I grew up playing team sports. And, you know, I've been a part of a lot of different groups and communities, and hands down, this is by far the best one. And I know for a fact it helps me get through tough days, getting in there and getting motivated, listening to people's stories, watching these people break through plateaus that they never imagined their life would be like anymore because they struggled for so many years. I mean, think about the amazing interview last night with Nicole, who I see on this call right now. I mean, what an amazing example. Like, the queen has shown up, for crying out loud, right? We are no longer Princess Nicole. We are the freaking queen. And that right there is really what it's all about. It's that longevity, it's that power. So that's kind of the bigger picture. And there's so much more science, obviously, Crystal, but we like to keep things simple. The only thing that I can say to people is if you wake up right now, if you wake up tomorrow and you don't feel 100% in any place at all, there is a place in the ER Shed for you, and we will welcome you. And I want to challenge you. I want to encourage you to just dive in. Don't worry about it. Don't think about it. Don't tell me what you did, 5 years ago and 2 years ago. I don't care. Nothing compares to this. Jump in, head first. Figure the shit out later. I promise you, we got you. We will give you the path to run on. All you have to do is do it. And at the end of 11 days, I guarantee you, I know this is a big claim, but I'm going to say it anyways. I guarantee you that you will experience something. You will come out of 11 days a different person. And what you choose to do from there is absolutely your choice. But I'm going to keep being here for you, and I'm going to keep rocking. And we ain't even close. We ain't even close to getting to where we want to get to. This is just a small sliver of what's going to happen, and we've already impacted thousands of lives. Like, I can't wait until that number is freaking millions, and I know you guys feel the same way too.
Yes, thank you, Jesse. And you made me realize that, and also April, it's really good, I think, to remember the importance of coming on these calls every single week. I think it's the best way to remind yourself of why you're doing this. And even though you may have heard this over and over and over, but I do commend you, Jesse, because you do it so well that it doesn't feel, every time I listen to it, it doesn't feel like I've heard this before. You do it so great that it's always so captivating. So thank you for the way that you present that. But also, it's a great reminder for all of us to be on these calls, even though you may have heard this before, because I think it will just keep us motivated and reminded of why we're doing this. So I do love that so many of you, especially Mel, I think you've been on every single call for almost a year. And we've been doing this every single Wednesday. So thank you, Mel, for being so dedicated and being such a great example. And thank you, all of you guys who show up every single week, even though you've heard this message before. And to hear the testimonials, it just keeps you motivated and reminds you of why you're doing this. And thank you again, Jesse. Thank you all for being here. And again, tomorrow night, check the
Crystal,
group.
Hey, Crystal, real quick. I'm not gonna call this woman out because that's just not right, not what we do. But I know she's on here, and I just want to make sure that I say congratulations, Barbara. Keep rocking your first shred. I see you in the comments. We pay attention to every single person, and I just want to tell you, we're all cheering for you, and I cannot wait to celebrate the end of your shred and so many more. So keep crushing.
Yes, next week, maybe, Barbara, if you're willing, we'd love to hear from you, or in a couple weeks or so. We love it. So I love that, Jessie. We are paying attention to every new member in the group, and we want to hear from you. So thanks again, you guys, for being here. We'll see you again next week. Also, don't forget to check tomorrow night in the group. It won't be live, but Sean has a special message he wants to share in placement of Bob's call. He's out vacationing. So Sean has something he wants to share with all of you guys. So check the group tomorrow at 6:00 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And then every Tuesday night, join Jesse as he interviews a new member of our community each week. And then Wednesday night, every Wednesday, we do this call. So you guys have a great night. Hope you're enjoying your summer, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
Thanks,
Well,
everyone.
Thank you, Jessie.
4th of
Thank
July.
you, Crystal.
Bye.
Bye.
Who
Thank you.
let the Bob
Bye.
out? Who? Who let the Bob out? Who?
Have a good holiday
good
weekend
night.
also.
Yeah,
You guys
happy
rock. April,
July
you rock.
4th.
You're amazing.
Thanks, Allison. You too.
Happy
You
July
all
4th.
are. Yeah, happy July 4th, my American friends. And Nicole,
Yes.
happy July 1st.
Barbecue. We're not missing out on anything. We get to go to all the barbecues
Yeah.
and enjoy some
And eat
I
all the
delicious
know.
meat.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Meat,
I'm
meat,
about to
more
go make
meat.
some of your little snacks, Crystal, too, right now.
Oh, awesome. Yay. Good for you.
Good.
Yeah, they're packed in our pack
with
bag,
chocolate,
too.
no sugar chocolate at all.
Oh, good. You
We got it
opened
at Trader
the-
Joe's. I'll send you a message about it.
Oh, good job. Yeah, you should post about it. I'd love
Yeah.
it.
No sugar
I'd love to
chocolate?
see how you guys are tweaking anything. Also, a reminder for anyone who might be new, I do have, if you search ER Shred maintenance meal ideas, I think maybe in the group you might find or Heather put them in a file too.
Yeah.
I have 2 videos where I share 5 different meals in each video of options, ideas. Of course, you have to discover if certain things that you can have, but I know we're all seeking ideas and, want to know where do we start? And
Yeah.
so those are just some things that I've been able to eat for myself. But I just think the best advice is keep it whole foods. Whole foods,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
oils.
exactly.
Yeah. Can't go wrong there.
No.
All right. I'm going to end right
Awesome.
now, but sure love you guys.
Okay.
night.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye. Good night,
Bye.
guys.
Good night.